as we spoke about on our main show, FPS, a Father's PlayStation podcast, which if you haven't seen, you can click the link in the description below and you can take access to our PlayStation Weekly show where we bring you all the latest news, sales data, and more. But in a week where obviously not so much good news coming from the Games Developer Conference for Xbox, where European retailers are talking about how they're thinking about dropping it or making its presence smaller in stores to third-party publishers, saying, why are we even bothering making Series S and X versions? Me and Alex thought, what better way than to kick a man when he's down than do what we call the Xbox Games Draft. And what we're going to do here is we are going to go down the similar rules of the NFL Draft, where we both pick 5 games from Xbox console exclusive history that I keep pointing the wrong way, personally want on the PlayStation 5. Okay, and the rules are as follows. We can't pick the same game. So obviously the draft pick is very, very important. The game has to have been released, so we can't pick anything that's in development. So we can't say Blade or Indiana Jones. However, because so much coverage has already taken place of Hellblade 2 and the fact that the game is only mere weeks away, Hellblade 2 does count in this draft. And also, you can't pick Xbox games that are already announced for PlayStation 5, such as Sea of Thieves, Grounded, or any Minecraft iterations or anything like that. With that being said, Alex, are you ready for the Xbox Games Draft? That's if Alex is listening.
I'm ready.
He was ready. He was
My
looking at the
body
list.
is ready. As Reggie Fils-Aimé said, classic E3 show. Yeah, man, let's do this.
Okay, so here we are, the Xbox Games Draft. Just a quickly reminder, same rules as the NFL Draft. We're both going to pick 5 games from Xbox console exclusivity that we personally want on PlayStation 5. We can't pick the same game. The game has to have already been released, so we can't pick future titles down the line. However, Hellblade 2 has had a lot of coverage. It's only weeks away, so that does count in this draft. And we can't pick Xbox games that were already announced for PlayStation 5, such as Sea of Thieves, Grounded, or any Minecraft iterations either. With that being said, Alex, all right, we are here. Welcome to the Xbox Games Draft. What is your first pick? I'm letting you have it. Your first draft pick from Xbox to PS5.
Oh, and what a pick I have for you, ladies and gentlemen, this week on what should go from Xbox
Remember,
to PS5.
This is what you want.
This is what I want. This is not what should happen, even though I'm sure Chris String will definitely be listening in and chiming in to make sure that what we want is actually going to be on there at some point. Because obviously we know what quality is. My first game that I'm going to put into draft is Flight Simulator. Boom.
Oh, okay. That was one of my picks. I'm not going to tell you the number until I get to it. So what was your reasons as to why you want the flight sim on there?
All right then. So let me just make sure that I've got a good reception yet. The reason why I'm going to have Flight Simulator that it should be on there is because ever since the first iteration of Google Earth, everybody thought, what? We've never really seen the world like that ever. You know, being able to just span across the world, spin it at will, and visit locations that you've never really seen. But you've always done it from like a proper satellite top-down view, like an enemy of the state type situation. But what Microsoft did with Flight Simulator, I mean, they brought that to life, son. I mean, you can literally go anywhere in the world, and it is just so lifelike. It is real time. You know, they've got different weather patterns as well. They've got all the, the landmarks from various countries around the world, and you can literally just cruise. You know, you can just spark up a blunt and just chill. You know, so that's one game which, unfortunately, is stuck on the Xbox, but it would be more than welcome on the PS5 because it's got the raw power for it. Yes, will be on the PS5. It's got the raw power. It's got. I mean, come on. I mean, we've got all the bells and whistles on this side of the blue cap. So yeah, definitely that is one game that will be on the PS5.
And we're going to talk, and obviously based on rules, you can't pick the next flight sim, so you're picking the one that's currently out, right? That's how we're doing it. Okay, my number one pick. Now, I apologize in advance if you're watching this and you are an Xbox diehard fan, an enthusiast, a fanboy, whatever what you want to be termed as. I'm not saying it just for the sake of it, but I just figure Microsoft are in a position where Sony's knee is on the back of their neck. And if Sony give them Helldivers 2, you're kind of releasing the pressure to give them a chance to get back up or anything like that. So I'm feeling my first pick should actually break the neck. Sony might as well just end it once and for all. And I think the game that will just damage the most, just from a passion perspective for those enthusiasts, it's a Halo Master Chief Collection. That is my first draft pick. I'm going straight for the heart of Xbox, Alex. It doesn't matter what people think about Halo in today's generation and society. The bottom line is that is their God of War, their Super Mario. It is their mascot title, and I think having that on PlayStation just breaks some hearts and causes massive controversy. I don't know. I think about all the games that are coming to Xbox, all the games that have been, all the games that are current, all the games that are going to be. That is the one, that's the pinnacle. Nothing causes more outcry, more outrage, and in a fucked up way, more entertainment than the announcement of the Master Chief Collection and Master Chief himself coming to the blue side. So, Halo Master Chief Collection is my number one draft pick. All right.
Very good show. I mean, obviously, it's like you said, for all the good intents purposes, it is the mascot. You might as well take the head. But
Exactly,
yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. Just
it'd be
break that
great.
neck a little bit more. And Sony's that sort of
Yeah,
company that would do it. Like instead of giving a helping hand, they'll throw a knee.
yeah, it would be no, it'd be good. I think it's definitely a good franchise to take over. But I don't know if it's needed on the PlayStation 5. But it's like
No,
there's
but
so
you know
many
what? I
decent
think I
shooters
think
on there.
the best thing that could happen for Halo is that it does happen because I feel like if the Master Chief Collection came to PlayStation, more PlayStation gamers like myself, even though I've played all the campaigns, I didn't play Infinites, can appreciate Halo. And then you get more people playing Halo again. I hate this word, the zeitgeist of everyone's jumping back on to play Halo. Millions of
Zeitgeist.
people are playing it. Infinite
Mm,
eventually comes out to PlayStation. Massive sales on that one. All this is happening while a new Halo game is in development. That can come to Xbox first, but you just open the doors and restart Halo the way it should be because the TV show ain't out. But anyway, Master Chief Collection,
mm.
I'm going straight for the heart and I'm ripping it out.
Yeah,
Your
well,
number two
mine's
pick,
going
mate.
to be sticking with FPSs, and I think this one is one which was released on a Nintendo 64, ladies and gentlemen. So you already know what I'm about to say. It is one game which came out as a spiritual successor to GoldenEye back in the day, and then Microsoft got their hands on it when they acquired Rare, and they haven't really done anything decent with this franchise. But I do feel that if they did give it a good narrative and they did actually make the shift over, this could actually be one of the key franchises for any console, because Perfect Dark, which is the game, is just an amazing. It's just an
Perfect Dark.
amazing game. I think back when it came out, I mean that whole sci-fi Blade Runner-esque, but yet using the same type of controls as GoldenEye. It was just interesting how they had a game which felt like GoldenEye but was completely different, and it almost just gave you a window into what's possible, into what is possible in terms of having a narrative-driven FPS shooter. Whereas back then there wasn't really much narrative in games. But with Perfect Dark, it was pretty good, but they just dropped the ball a little. So it's kind
Well,
of
how long has this new one been in development? It's gonna be shit, man, when it comes out. Let's just be
yeah,
honest,
yeah, yeah. It's
people. Let's
true. It's
just all
true. I
be
think.
honest with yourselves. It's not good. It's
See,
dead.
imagine if they gave this game to like Guerrilla Games. You know what I mean? It's like that would be awesome.
No,
So
they need to give
yeah,
Halo to Guerrilla
yeah.
Games.
I mean, I think Halo got a decent team as it is already. I think they just need to shift platform. That's
I'll
it,
be honest
really.
with you.
You
I
know.
think I think personally, Perfect Dark is apropos because that's where it belongs, perfectly in the dark. Doesn't need to come back anymore. But we're sticking with shooters, Alex. We've got from there. For my number
Yeah,
two is Gears of
yeah,
War. Again, if I went for the heart, I'm going for the spine now. And just I want Gears of War on PlayStation. I think that having this game, it needs to be remade, obviously, in the future. But a game like that to be remade needs to have big resurgence in players, big interest in it, big sales in it as well. And what better way to do that than put Gears of War on PlayStation 5? So the original Gears of War, get it remastered or just port it over and get it on PlayStation. You could sell that game for 20 bucks, 30 bucks. We've barely put in £1 million in getting it over, and you'll make millions and millions off it. It's that sort of game that would do really, really well. So my number two pick is Gears of War.
Gears of War, and that's a game which I do think for the next generation will be getting a refresh. It has to. It has to. They kind of like went a bit wayward when they got to five. Introducing all these different characters, which didn't really help the core storyline, but
It went
definitely,
wayward
man.
at Judgment. It went wayward
Uh,
before then.
but
What's
yeah,
your number
man.
three?
That's your number two. My number three. Okay, so this game again was originally on the Nintendo platform, in the fighting genre, one that we talked about slightly earlier. One of the fastest fighting games on the planet. I mean, when this game was first originally released, I mean, me and my brother were playing this like forward and back, and it's like when you figured out the cheats, you were actually able to
Cheats.
actually uncap the speed of this game. I mean, it was already fast already, but then you could even turn it up to like a hyper speed to the point where you're actually looking at your fingers and it's in bullet time, man. It's like our fingers were moving so fast. Obviously you don't think anything of it, innit? But obviously when people are looking at you, thinking, "What the hell? How the hell are you moving your fingers that fast?" And the game and indeed, what I'm talking about is Killer Instinct, which another game which was brilliant on the Nintendo's system, being on the SNES. It then made its way over, obviously during the acquisition. And again, Xbox did absolutely nothing with it. And even the ones that are out now, they're fine, but they just feel a bit too bulked out. I think it needs like a complete refresh, another rebirth, another remaster, or whatever. But definitely that'd be one which would definitely hold toe to toe in terms of the fighting genre out there, especially with alongside Mortal Kombat. If they gave the characters a decent storyline and narrative, they've already got like the killer combos there. That's actually one of the moves. And yeah, there's just so much room to explore all those different characters. So that is definitely one franchise which I wish they would bring over
I didn't
to
realize
the
we were
blue
doing
side.
comedy here. I didn't realize we were doing comedy on this show, saying that it would
Oh
match
yeah,
up
it's
to
all
like sales and
entertainment.
that.
It's
Don't be
all
silly, mate.
entertainment.
Don't be silly.
It's
It
all
will enter the
entertainment.
ring with all the bravado of like a WWE entrance. Like, yeah, yeah, and then
Yeah, these
Tekken
these are
hits.
good games. These are good, but like, yeah, there'll be obviously Tekken's done. I mean, I think it's like it's got Tekken 8. I don't think there's any more room for Tekken now. That was peak Tekken. The only difference now would be for everyone to like connect their brains directly into the system and actually play it. Tekken 8's perfect. That's peak. Yeah, but there's all these other franchises that haven't really reached that peak yet, and Killer Instinct is definitely one of them for me. So that is my
Okay.
number four or
Okay,
tres.
well, my number three was Microsoft Flight Simulator, but that has gone in the draft to your first
Uh,
one. So I have to move down the list. So my number three is Starfield. Now, anybody who listens to our show knows I love space. I love space games. And
yeah.
I would love, yeah, man, who would have thought? So I would love Starfield to be on PlayStation 5. I just feel like Bethesda games used to be an industry event. Elder Scrolls, you look at Oblivion, you look at Skyrim, you look at Fallout, you look at these games, they were an event in the industry, and then Starfield was just silent. Minor blip. Yeah, look, here's a few nice bus posters and subway posters to show you all, but just it came and went without any fanfare really that way, and it doesn't deserve that. I feel like if it comes to PlayStation, it has a massive resurgence in terms of
I think
interest
so.
and oh yeah,
You really
100%. I
think
just
so?
think
You really think
I
so?
think
I mean, yeah,
I
it's
think
set in
Starfield
space. but the game was just like
Dude,
meh.
I think well, this is it. Like, well, the one thing we're noticing, you look at Pentiment, you look at Hi-Fi Rush, they're getting higher Metacritic scores on PlayStation than they are on Xbox, and I just put that down to the controller. I think the DualSense just it does add a level of immersion to these games, and I think Starfield it needs PlayStation, and
Yeah.
just to think like how amazing the physics are in Starfield, and I just think how amazing it would be on that DualSense controller would be insane. So Starfield is my number three.
Nice. Perfect. All right then. So going on to number four now. This is a game which, since it came out, I have not had a chance to play it, but it's one which is on the list, which, like many of my games, as listeners would know, there's a long digital list out there, gathering digital dust, and I'll definitely get through to it at one point. Um, but yes, this one had, I can't remember who the actor is in this game, but he played um, the Iceman in X-Men. Yeah, so yeah, those who fan of the X-Men of the movies, you know who I'm talking about. The game itself is called Quantum Break.
Hmm.
Quantum Break. Yeah, one of those reality bending action RPG type games, which ever since it came out, I thought, yeah, okay, then Xbox. I mean, that game itself is just quality. It kind of had the same feel as like Beyond or even like Detroit, you know what I mean? And I guess that type of feel. But obviously it came from the Team Green. And it was one game which it was just unfortunate that it just only it was an exclusive on the Xbox, and it would have just been a smash hit had it more a bigger hit if it was released on the rival consoles, including the PlayStation, obviously. And it's one game which I've always wanted to get my hands on, and I'll pretty much have to get an Xbox just to play that as well as one of the other titles that we'll be talking about a bit later. But yes, Quantum Break. If you have played it, let us know what you think about it. If you haven't, it's up there, man. It's up there. Even though I've actually played it
Interesting.
myself. But
Interesting.
that's it.
Okay.
That's my four.
My number four, I'm going back, mate, all the way back to 2013 and the launch of the Xbox One. There was one game I wanted, but it was only on Xbox, and it hasn't even come to PlayStation since. And that's Rise, Son of Rome. Now, it's an action adventure video game. It came out at launch. It was beautiful visually. It was made by Crytek. It was obviously developed by Crytek. It was absolutely beautiful. And it was set in like an alternate
Mm.
version of ancient Rome. And I really, really wanted it. And I thought in my head, yeah, it's gonna come to PlayStation. It never did. So I hope in my draft, I can get it and will it into existence. So, of it, all the negative stuff happening to Xbox, I seem to have willed into existence by accident. My bad. But yeah, Rise, Son of Rome, is a game that I would love to play on PlayStation. Would I pay for it, or it's a PlayStation Plus game maybe? I don't know. But Rise, Son of
Yeah, I
Rome.
remember seeing that game. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Mm,
It's even the graphics today hold up, man. It looks sick. Yeah, man.
yeah, yeah.
That's definitely
So
one which should
that
actually
is
make it
my
so over.
numero four horsemen is Rise,
Okay,
Son of Rome.
the four horsemen of the apocalypse. Going over to my El Numero Cinco five.
Your final draft
Uh,
pick, mate. Make
my
it
final
good.
draft pick. This is really hard. So obviously
Okay,
we've
so
had some of
before you
the
go into
easy
it,
ones.
we've had Halo Master Chief Collection. We've had the Flight
Yep.
Simulator. We've had Gears of War. We've had
Oh yeah.
Perfect Dark. We've had Killer Instinct. We've had Starfield. We've had
Yep.
Quantum Error. No,
Error.
Quantum
Break.
Break. Sorry. Get
Yeah, not
mixed
to
up.
be
Quantum
confused with
Break.
Quantum Error. I know even I
And we've had
did.
Starfield. So what are our final two draft picks for Xbox
Well,
games coming to
everybody
PS5?
knows the game which I definitely want to play because I played the first one, which was released on the PlayStation. I played a demo on the PlayStation. I played the actual game fully on the Nintendo Switch because I love the game so much. And now, because it's a complete exclusive, it's only going to be released on the Xbox, unfortunately. That
No,
game,
it will temporarily be exclusive. It'll
I
come.
remember, it'll come because we're willing all this into existence. That game dealt with mental health. It also showcased some of the best facial animation and live motion capture that I've ever seen in a plethora of games. Had some really unique puzzles as well. Had a really good story, you know what I mean? Blending in like the Nordic mythology, which wasn't God of War. And the game that I'm talking about is God of War Ragnarok. No, the game that I'm talking about is Hellblade 2. Is it Senua's Sacrifice? I think that's the one. Yeah,
Senua's
so that's
Sacrifice, yeah.
Senua's Sacrifice. Yeah, so it's the game which Xbox is kind of holding off. They know how good that one actually is, actually. Um, but yeah, at least when they first showed this game, it looked a hell of a lot better than Halo did the first time they showed that, which was just abysmal. But yeah, Hellblade 2, Senua's Sacrifice is a sequel that, out of all the sequels this year, is the one I'm actually looking
Oh
forward
no,
to.
no, no,
So,
mate. You mixed up. I thought you were asking what the first game is. Senua's Sacrifice is the first game. Senua's Saga is the second one, isn't it?
Saga,
Yeah.
Senua's Saga, Hellblade
So
2.
how
I was going to talk
Hellblade
about the
2.
subtitle.
Cool. Nice
So,
pick.
yeah,
And
that's the one for me. That's my last one.
well,
What
I've
about
got to
yours?
change my list because the next one was going to be Hellblade 2 as well. I'm just looking at it. My pick would have been Ori and the Blind Forest, but I'm gonna switch it to the pick below, just because it actually has space on the PlayStation 5 for it, and that's Forza Horizon 5. Um,
Yeah, that was
doesn't
going to be one of
compete with
mine.
Gran Turismo. It's more open world, it's more fun. If anything, the only thing on PlayStation that is close to it is Need for Speed, and that's shit. So I think Forza Horizon 5 would find a great home on PlayStation 5, and I actually think it would sell. I think with the exception of Halo Master Chief Collection or Gears of War, probably Gears actually, but definitely Halo wouldn't catch Halo, but I think Forza sells more than anything else on PlayStation in
Yeah.
terms of Xbox games that would come over. The gap is there. It does. I think if Forza Motorsport came, people would kind of laugh at it, and it would show its shortcomings because it would be on the same console as Gran Turismo 7. Um, and you don't want that. But I think Forza Horizon 5, it's very different. It's a lot more fun. It's got great online capabilities, and I think it would find a massive community and big that game up even more for whenever the next Horizon game comes out. So Forza
Yeah.
Horizon 5 is my number 5 on that one.
I think just up 100 did like a side-by-side comparison, didn't they, between this and GT7. And it wasn't neck and neck, but I mean it wasn't too far off. You know, there's a lot of
Mm.
detail which was on Forza that wasn't on GT, and it was just like they just went back and
Yeah,
forward.
that
But
was a
I think
comparison
having
with
that,
Motorsport, yeah, yeah, then Horizon. But I think, like I said, there's no other game on PlayStation that's like Horizon besides like Need for Speed.
yeah, yeah,
Motorsport, there's too many games. Assetto Corsa, Project Cars, Gran Turismo, all these. There's a lot of simulation games that are available, but there's nothing like Forza Horizon, really.
at this
AAA.
level, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
triple
Besides
A
Need for Speed
arcade.
Unbound, and that's it's meh at best. It's made by it's shit. So yeah, Forza Horizon 5. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Our Xbox games draft to PlayStation 5. The number one round picks, the main two games, Halo Master Chief Collection and Flight Simulator. They are the big winners, the number one draft picks for us as well. On top of that, we also had Gears of War, Perfect Dark, Starfield, Killer Instinct, Rise, Son of Rome, Quantum Break, Hellblade 2, and Forza Horizon 5. All coming to PlayStation, ladies and gentlemen. That's our wish. Now, if you're an Xbox enthusiast and you're listening to this, you're like, fuck you, you're a keyboard warrior and get anything. Just remember, it's a little bit of fun.
Keyboard
Nothing
warrior.
stopping you from doing a PlayStation draft for Xbox, although it ain't never gonna happen because it ain't losing like Xbox is, but it's all good at the end. And the reports are there that a lot of Xbox games are coming. Oh, it feel good. It feel damn good, you know.
And they need to come, as we spoke in the main show. It's like Xbox needs to reclaim a lot of that development costs and put it on one of the biggest platforms that can actually, which is on parity with it. I mean, it's got the same processor and everything, really. You know, in
I
fact, it'll
know,
probably
and
even run even better than the PS on the PS5 than it would on the Xbox. So they
yeah,
may as well
and
get
I
there
think
at least some cash back.
and I think at the same time as well, it'd be nice for those actual developers to have these IP on PlayStation because at the moment they're big fish in a small pond. Time to move over to the ocean, ladies and gentlemen, and join the blue side, which is PlayStation, baby. That's what we're talking about. Just having fun,
For
guys. I'm
now,
not taking the
for
piss.
now,
I'm not
for
taking
now,
piss.
for now.
All right. But
Because
thank you very much for
even
listening.
PlayStation right now is not sailing, so great. But anyway. We'll
Sailing
call it
perfectly
that next
fine,
time.
bro. Sailing perfectly fine, bro.
All right
It's
then.
tracking
All
in line
right.
with
All right.
PS4, so we're all good. It's whooping Switch's ass every month. But anyway, thank you very much for listening, and we will see you next week on either Father's PlayStation podcast or another episode of PS Extra if you're on Patreon. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week.